Hi everyone, thank you for joining me and welcome to my channel. Let's take a look at a 21 card spread for the current energies. So first, we're going to do first 3 rows of 7 cards each. So we have the 8 of Pentacles, that's Sun in Virgo. We're heading into Virgo season. And the King of Swords and the 10 of Swords, which is Sun in Gemini. We are in Gemini season now. And then we have Prince of Cups, 5 of Wands, Saturn in Leo, 6 of Swords, which is Mercury in Aquarius, and the Princess of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Okay, so this is an interesting mix of things. So first of all, the primary energy here is the 8 of Pentacles, which is suggesting that this is mostly about something to do with productivity, work, fine-tuning your skills, and learning something. There's someone in the situation who's extremely wise and able to offer insight into the things that are happening for you. They could be a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. They could be a man, but those descriptions are just extra data points. What you're looking for is an insightful person who gives you extra information to understand and gives you kind of like a heads up on what's going on. 10 of Swords. Women in the situations are afflicted, which means that the feminine energy here is breaking down. We'll look at that closer in a minute, but this could mean that your relationships with women are estranged or there's some other thing that's going on. Let's see. I have the Bral Talej cards, which are cards I really like to work with. They're super psychic. So let's see. We have the Useful card, 103, and then we have Dignity and Forgetting, 57. So they don't have traditional meanings, but it feels as though female energies around you are feeling left behind. They feel as though the utility of their presence has been used, and they feel like that reminds, like, how do I say this? Their utility has been affected by current circumstances, and they feel used, and they feel as though they're of no use to the situation. So they're interpreting things in the situation, like they're interpreting that they're being left behind, and now that they can't help in a situation, they're useless and not appreciated. So that's the foundation of the 10 of Swords conflict. They feel used, not necessarily that you used them, but just generally that they can't contribute into the relationship as they had before. Maybe this is you. If you're a female, you feel like you can't help in this situation, so you feel like there's doubt whether or not that situation will, like, where that will go, whether that relationship is strong enough to see it through, to, like, now that I can't be of use, what is the purpose here? And will that be strong enough to maintain the relationship? That's the female, and this could be you if you're a woman. So we have hiding their thoughts, hiding their feelings. So you're dealing with people who have hidden feelings. If this is you, you're hiding all of this, all this doubt. The Prince of Cups, the masculine energy, is offering something in, offering some kind of gifts, emotional gifts, openness. Very nice. But I think that their stress, especially within relationships, this person is having serious doubts about their position in a relationship or dynamic in combination with others. And this person is not seeing it. And they're offering up something that they think is of value, but this person's problem, and because they're the chameleon, right? Because they're hiding their, what's actually going on, this person's not seeing it. In this card, he's flying over water, right? So he's flying over water, he's not dipping in. So there's this kind of like missing the point. Okay, that's part of the, we'll see this. This is just introductory. Then we have the 6 of Swords, but there's still this isn't like a breakdown in a relationship. This is like figuring things out together, how to carry on. And I think as the chameleon, the feminine, the female, or the feminine energies, and if you're masculine feeling this, this is completely okay. You're just going through the feminine energy portal. Or so we have the Princess of Cups. She's meeting him. This is how I would see it. She's meeting him in this openness and giving, but she's a chameleon, right? So she's hiding the actual doubt, the actual questions that are in her mind in order to make it work, in order to be positive. That's what I think. I think that that's causing the stress. Let's pick some Bral Talej about that. So we have the ending. She's doubting endings, closing. She thinks it's superficial, like the song and dance, it's like when people have babies to save a relationship. That's what reminds me of it. Defense. She's not engaging in the energy. He's wanting to have fun. The problem here is he's engaging in positive energies and, wanting to be constructive or positive, offering up. But his problem is that he's not actually looking for the problem. Like he's just, I'll be just positive and everything will be happy, when there's like a fundamental doubt that's going on. We have action, and then we have defeat. That's the Tower. And then insisting. So there's an I'm not listening to you kind of going on here. He's not listening to what's going on for her, and she's hiding it. She's hiding it to not be a problem. Okay, now let's pick the next row. So for the feminine, more self-worth, maybe she's picking up on a nuance, and maybe he's just being naive, or maybe he's just being kind of insensitive to the whole thing. So we have the 9 of Cups, because kindness, like an insistence of kindness, is rarely kind, right? Then we have the Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter. This person, whoever they are, listen to them. And there could be several of these people in the situation. Older, wise, possibly male, engineering type, logic, reason, smart person. They're helping to try to help people navigate this with reason, with, it's like asking your dad, and he knows, like, I ask my dad things and he answers it in like 2 minutes, and he answers it simply, but he's right, and I'm mulling it over, his answers are so quick. And then we have the 7 of Pentacles. And so he keeps on running into this like fear of failure. But the problem is that he's not figuring out how he's asserting himself incorrectly, right? So he's like, oh, this is failing. This is not working. It's not failing or working because he didn't listen to her. And then we have the Moon and the Knight of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. And then we have Capricorn again, or the Devil. And we'll do this row now. So this is the second row. So there's a lack of listening, and there's a lack of being authentic. The feminine, lack of authenticity to appease, to make someone else happy, to not rock the boat, right? The masculine is just thinking that if they're doing without listening, which is something we know men do. Sorry guys, I'm not trying to be rude, but this is making me laugh because it's like, it feels like he's acting without introspection, without actually looking at what's going on. And she's pushing herself into a weird energy here. I don't like this energy. It's inauthenticity, it's anxiety, it's stress, because she keeps on acting in a way that's not in alignment to what's actually going on. There is going to be communication about it sooner or later, hopefully sooner before things get too complicated, right? The more they don't listen to each other, the more they're inauthentic with each other. He's being authentic, she's being inauthentic. She's not telling him what's actually wrong, and he's not listening either. So one's not listening, one's not being genuine. And that can lead to big separation of energies. But there's good luck. King of Swords, Knight of Swords, very good energy. Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, or Sag, Leo, or Aries, possibly secondary transits like a moon or Mars or something in fire. This person is trying to help them figure it out. They're trying so hard to figure it out, insisting on a one-to-one basis with them to help them along in a positive direction. Telling them maybe he's communicating, especially to her, or explaining what's going on to him. This is the core of the energy. So this is manifesting as a fear of failure, which means that when you're not looking at what's actually going on, when you don't actually focus on what's happening, and then it doesn't work, it's like, what happened here? It's like, well, obviously stupid. Like, it didn't work out because you weren't paying attention to the foundational thing. And then there's like unspoken tension. This relationship has the potential to be rocky. If this is, it looks like it's about a relationship because they're not communicating, they're avoiding the truth. They're trying to like create like corners, like cut corners. And so we have the Knight of Discs with maybe a family member or someone else. Or I have to say, there could be a temptation to the woman, like another person who's here, who comes in. If this works out a certain way, this person can be the deal breaker. In other words, the feminine partner most likely has a chance of having an affair because it's so inauthentic. It's pushing things to the extreme so much. And it's almost like they're acting upon things rather than talking about things. And they keep doubling down. That's what it seems like in the reading. They keep doubling down. Let's take a look at this guy. Let's see what's going on between them. And this could be like the man in the relationship as well. I'm just reading it as the feminine because the princess. Okay, let's see what's going on between them. Past life relationship, you have known each other before. So there could be a third party or temptation from the past. Something's happening around, and she's in the perfect environment, not being heard, feeling like she's not good enough to start having bad ideas. So we have the doubting. Yeah, I'm asking about what's going on with that. And this is like what if situation. I'm not saying you're going to get cheated on. I'm not saying you're about to cheat. I'm saying that like if things continue as they are, that will lead to instability. So free will. This is an important card. This is the moon in this deck. So, it is free will. Like to choose to do that, but work through your deeper feelings. She needs to have a sit down with her heart. She needs to have a sit down with her heart and ask herself why she's feeling unwanted. Maybe he's doing something. I mean, it sounds like he's being a bonehead, to be perfectly honest, but we can only control ourselves. And so I think that she needs to like have a sit down with herself. Mission of the soul. Near and harmony. So harmony is potential. She needs to navigate through these temptations. That's what I'm getting. They're temptations and they're very clear, and they're both like they sound like they're good together. This doesn't look like I mean, if she acts upon bad instincts, or if she acts upon or he acts upon bad, doubt or whatever, then that can turn bad. But right now this is like something temporary. The core thing is she needs to get over whatever is bothering her so much. She needs to get over this feeling that she's useless in a relationship. And then she has this temptation to navigate. So, I mean, it's up to her to choose what she's going to do. People go through hard things and they don't cheat, right? So just, it's not a given that she will. I'm looking for these cards. Okay, so let's do the third row. Very relationship specific. Okay, so we have the lust card. Yeah, lust in this position. She should definitely go with her husband or partner. Okay, so there's a very clear message that she's meant to go. This is temporary setback or worry. The temptation is not the right path, but there is this strong calling for her. Actually, you know what this could mean? This could be the potential, like if within a relationship, this could be the potential of the breakdown of the relationship. Because if she's feeling useless or if worthless in a relationship, that may have actually come from something, right? You have to sit with it. You have to understand the heart of it, right? Then we have the Empress, hidden feelings. She's getting hidden feelings and he's a bonehead. He's not even asking her what's wrong. Then we have the magician, someone coming in. This could be someone hitting on her in a big way. There's someone else coming in, coming through. And we have the Queen of Wands as the outcome. A friend brings truth in a situation, pulls her out of the problem, says like, you shouldn't carry on in this direction. There could be a different beginning happening for her, not with the past life relationship, but someone else altogether. Because if you're not being heard, and if you're feeling like maybe she's not feeling heard because he's just not listening, maybe she's not feeling useful because he's not listening. So he's kind of like, you should be happy, and that's it. It's like you can't tell someone just to be happy and not, if there's a separation, if he's clocked out. Okay, so here is the separation. Time apart from your partner. I have a feeling they need a separation without cheating. I have a feeling they need a kind of breather to kind of recalibrate, because it feels like pressure and tension. Let's see some Bral Talej, because these have been blowing my mind. So we have manifesting, and then defeat, tower, 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 showing up again and again. Then we have the harmony. This is a Sagittarius card, or temperance. So slowly defeat, so if you push into it, something needs to break down, but then it kind of smooths out so that it can recalibrate. Releasing, something needs to be released out. And then loneliness. What will loneliness need to? This is Hermit, Virgo energy. So we have union. So being alone sometimes prompts a person gratefulness, thankfulness, right? Gratitude. I love this card. Union. Reconnecting with each other. Snakes. Thankfulness. Let's see what else. And then masculine, which is the Emperor. Maybe he needs to get in touch with himself. Maybe he needs a swift kick in the butt. And maybe they need to kind of face like the breakdown together, or separate, have that breakdown. She needs to not cheat, and then get lonely, separate, and then find the genuine connection again. So he needs a wake-up call, and she needs to not cheat. Okay. And the genders might switch. So this might be the actual man, and this might be the actual woman. You know which one it is. Make sure to like, share, and comment to make the energy real. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.